Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever the hell you're listening to this. You're listening to Fat Athletic Nerds Talking Sports, the sports pod with Dad, Bods, and guys. We are in person again here at the lovely apartment of man Darley and his girl Haley. I've got man Darley next to me alongside the Zach Daniels. I am JackKnife. Lonny. Gentlemen, how we doing the day after Mother's Day?
Your nickname is JackKnife?
Yeah, where's this nickname coming from?
Explain how you're a JackKnife.
William Patterson Hockey, thank you.
Okay, what does that have to do with anything? Okay, can anyone from William Patterson please come here and explain to us?
The William Patterson
why?
Hockey team.
Oh, they're the Pioneers.
They call me JackKnife.
Yeah, but why?
Because I'm awesome, that's
More
why.
like a Jack in the Beanstalk or a Jack in the Box, not a JackKnife.
Whatever, but...
Explain to me. Okay, show the people that you are JackKnife.
You're reading way too deep into this.
No, we're going to read deep into us. Zach, does he look like a JackKnife?
You look like a fat and athletic nerd talking sport.
Exactly.
Alright, but geez, it's the day after Mother's Day at the time of this recording. How was your Mother's Day, boys?
It was actually a very wonderful time, Mother's Day. Spent some quality time with my mother, with my lovely girlfriend. Bought some flowers. We did some gardening with her. She loves doing her garden. She loves doing her flowers. And weather was a little off, but we all hung out at home. We watched some TV, watched some funny movies, reminisced. Went to the attic, saw a couple of fun things from my parents' wedding that was actually still intact, which was pretty cool. So always the nostalgia feel. And I hope she had a wonderful Mother's Day. Zach, how was your mother on Mother's Day?
I was very busy, but I got to meet up with her. And, they went to dinner. I was busy during the day, unfortunately, but gave her some flowers, gave her a hug, called my grandmother. You know, just a normal day, just a nice Sunday. That's all. It sucks I didn't get to have dinner with her, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I got my mom some Amazon gift cards, but my fiance up to me. She got her Amazon gift cards and Starburst jelly beans, and I gotta say, it was an interesting way for me yesterday to find out I was allergic to rabbits.
Really?
Okay, so you're a JackKnife allergic to rabbits. You know what? I'm not going to go on a tangent. We're not going to discuss it. We're not going to discuss that because the one thing we do want to discuss today is not about what you're allergic to rabbits, how you're a JackKnife, but we're going to talk sports finally. Let's talk sports.
Finally,
And,
we're like 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So as you can see, one beautiful thing about Fat Athletic Nerds Talking Sports today, I stumble when I talk. B, we're eating a lovely buffalo chicken flatbread that we have purchased from Sam's Club, and Sam's Club does make the best delicious pizza.
We're not sponsored by them.
Shout out to Sam's.
They are not sponsored of us, but they do make very good pizza. And last week, we had the pleasure of joining you at your abode, celebrating your birthday.
Nah, that was the week prior. We took like a half hiatus. Zach and I did
Wait,
our
it's been
thing.
2 weeks already?
Well, almost 2 weeks. A week and a half,
Guys,
basically.
Time really does fly, everybody. Enjoy your time.
Yeah, poor Steve had to edit all that stuff. Uploading 3 audios.
Shout out to Brick.
Brick Walters, MVP.
Yeah, Brick's not here today. He's doing some moving things. He might be working on getting us a permanent studios, or one of our permanent studios, but, that's why he can't join us today, so. Anyway.
Well, whatever he can do to help the podcast, and hopefully he's doing well, and we do miss him very much, and
I'm sure he'll be
Jack
around
reached
next week.
in for a napkin, and Zach goes, "You need a napkin, sir."
I'm okay.
You sure? Okay.
I'll take it anyway.
All right, so
You're already there.
what's first on the agenda?
So, I want to talk about the draft party last weekend. You know what? Both in a literal and figurative sense, I loved how close we were all at the at your birthday parties watching the NFL draft. Figurative sense because we all got together. It's always good to see friends, especially during these tumultuous times that the coronavirus pandemic has brought upon us.
It's hopefully over soon.
And yes,
Please.
we cannot wait to return back to normalcy. Hopefully, of course, we value the safety and health and well-being of all, whether or not you do listen to this podcast or not. Hopefully, everyone is safe and everyone's abiding by what they feel is best for them during these times.
Yeah.
In a literal sense, because we're literally on top of each other, and I was literally sitting on the floor on those wires.
Yeah, you got a close-up shot with that GoPro we had.
Yes,
You were
and that was
right in
my.
front of
And
it.
if anyone watched last week, everyone got a good look at my rear end.
Okay,
In
That's why we got as many views as it did.
Yes, isn't it sad that I'm the one who brings sex appeal to this podcast?
Well, anyway, I get my second dose next week. I can't wait for Yankee tickets to go back down. It's like $80 to sit in the freaking bleachers.
You know
right
what?
now.
I
Like,
was
come
at
on.
the Yankee game, the first home run of the season. Corey Kluber's first start in some time. He pitched really well that day. I'm hoping for a good career for Corey Kluber. Good season for Corey Kluber this year. We bought tickets. It was it's crazy. Like, you're staying online, you're waiting to get in, the checkpoints. But now we're reduced capacity, COVID restrictions. You need to prove a COVID test. And I got vaccinated too right before then with the Johnson vaccine. So it was my girlfriend and I went. We still had a good time. The Yankees won. We did get some good seats. But it was a little strange. It was very eerie. And last night I was actually watching the we go from football to baseball now. I was watching the Atlanta Braves Philadelphia Phillies game. They had 28,000 fans in the stands.
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta, yeah,
I didn't even
20,000.
notice.
They were at high capacity, and I saw people grouped together. And it was like almost reminiscent of like a few months ago, last month, when the Texas Rangers opened up the season at near full capacity. And
That was fucking awesome, by the way.
And you know what? It was good to see. And you know what? And again, I know every state's handling coronavirus pandemic seriously. This is not the discussion here. But, it's good seeing people going out and enjoying their lives.
Some kind of return to
And
normalcy.
that's one of the biggest things I missed. And I miss going to a baseball game. So even though I still had to wear the mask and abide by social distancing and COVID protocols, we still had a good time. The Yankees won the game. And, but I just remember watching that game yesterday. And I got to say, the Philadelphia Phillies, 5-9 or 5-10 or 5-11, I think, on the road now. They won the worst road records in Major League Baseball.
Gotta give our resident Phillies fan the take on this.
There is absolutely no consistency with this team. That's all I gotta say. Like it doesn't. I don't care about the home and away. It wouldn't have mattered even if they were home. They can't string. They got 5 wins in a row, rattled off 2 straight losses, because that's what they do. That's why they've been so bad for like the past decade. They have zero consistency. You can't be a contender if you can't keep winning. Like, if you're just hovering around 500, you're clearly just not taking the next step to being a top team in the league.
Well, luckily for them, they're in the NL East this year, and it is a close race. I know the Mets are in first. The Phillies are right behind them.
The NL East is the NFC East. That's basically what's
speaking of the
happening.
Mets, they lost. They're gonna be without Jacob deGrom for some time.
Yeah.
Well, this is it's not like they can win with him.
He's getting the Johan Santana treatment from like mid 2000s.
I mean, I thought like Steve Cohen was going to come in, fix everything. When you sign a guy like Francisco Lindor, and you give these contracts to these players, and you expect to do much, just like with the Yankees this year. These Yankees players are having these, like when the Yankees started out like crap this season, 5-10 they started, worst start since 1997, and you get paid millions of dollars to hit a baseball, and you can't even do that. You strike out 3, 4, 5 times a game.
Well, it is a very. I think hitting a baseball
Is one of the hardest things in
to do
professional sports. It's got to be in the top 3. But
Even if it's a fastball, it's got to be one of the. No.
Plus, I don't think Steve Cohen just got there. I don't think they're gonna like go from basement dwellers to elite team overnight.
They're not even basement dwellers. It's like the whole NL East. Excuse me while I'm chewing. The whole NL East is right now. It is the NFC East. Everyone's 500 or below, sitting around there. I'm pretty sure now with the Phillies, are they like 500 right now? I forget
They're
the
actually
record at the
18 and
moment.
17.
They're
Which
18
is
and
crazy
17.
because
Wow,
they're 5
great.
and 10 on the
That means they're in
road,
first.
But they're 11 and 5 or 11 and 6 at home.
Should have did my.
Yeah,
No, they're really good. They're really good though at home.
Wait, what's a
and
5
really
and 10
bad.
and 5 and 11 on the road? But yeah, we'll get the fact checks here. But yeah, like one of the craziest things with the Yankees and their turnaround, for example, like here we are, we're going all over the place. I take responsibility for that. Seeing Giancarlo Stanton hit a walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th inning.
I don't have to hit a home run. Wow.
I literally
Just
thought
hit
that
the ball,
I really thought that I had to go to the hospital because I saw Giancarlo Stanton hit singles and not swing for the fences and playing small ball and playing smart baseball.
It's almost as if you don't have to hit home runs every time you're at bat.
I know, right?
I think
and that's why the Yankees just won a series against the Washington Nationals.
Back-to-back walk-offs after losing embarrassingly 11-4 on Friday night.
I'll give it a walk-off and a half because, that's because of, the new extra inning rule.
Yeah.
For the second
Well,
one. For the
Nationals-
first one, rather.
I just want to let you guys know the Nationals do blow. And I don't think Stanton can help it because he's just a monster of a human being. I think like every time he hits the ball, it has a chance of being a home run. He's lately been like an MVP candidate. I don't care what you guys say. Like he really is. I'm kind of mad about how good he's been lately. Hitting home runs. Yeah, and he has a game where
I'm mad in the same way.
He's still hitting.
Yeah, I'm mad in the same sense as like, dude, where was this earlier?
That's what happened. You got to stay on the field.
I think his batting average had like a couple hundred points.
He's over 300 right now.
That's good for him.
I mean, Gary Sanchez, we still gotta get him, figure out what's going on with him. Aaron Judge kind of dropped off since like he had a decent start to the season.
I can figure out Gary Sanchez.
What?
He just sucks. He's just not a good baseball player.
He's not a
good catcher at all.
It's like that meme. It's like you can't catch and you're not hitting. What exactly do you do here?
Exactly. They just
Kyle Higashioka has been like starting like, more frequently over him, and he's been coming up big at the plate.
I remember the crazy 2018 season, the AL East, fortunately when the Red Sox defeated the Yankees in the first round of ALDS. And more importantly, how crazy it was that year we had two teams in one division with 100-plus wins, and one had to be the wild card team.
right.
That Boston team had a legendary season.
And the Yankees, great season too. But I remember at one point, people were talking about trading Noah Syndergaard to the Yankees for Miguel Andujar and Gary Sanchez. That was like rumors and talks, like discussions, because like at the time Andujar was having an MVP caliber season. Rookie of the year, he was finalist Rookie of the Year behind Shohei Ohtani.
I still don't get the WAR stat, but Ohtani is great.
I mean, listen, if you can pitch and hit in the American League like that, then that's unbelievable. I still think he should have been in the National League with the type of player he is, but because he's so versatile,
He wanted to go with the Angels.
He wanted to go with the Angels.
Unfortunately, the Angels are pissing away his career and Mike Trout's.
Ugh. Don't get me started on those two. But at one point, that could have been a possibility where Noah Syndergaard could have donned the pinstripes with shorter hair, and Gary Sanchez and Miguel Andujar would have been on the Mets. And they both at the time would have fulfilled the need. Yankees get better pitching quality. The Mets get some piece they need for a better rebuild. They both stay in the New York area. They're local. Different color pinstripes on the uniforms. Because I know the Mets still do a pinstripes.
Yeah,
right?
they do. If I'm not, yeah, they do. It's just a light. It's just more of a royal blue as opposed to navy blue.
Yeah, I'm colorblind, folks, so I can't say. But yeah, that would have been nice. But now, looking at it now, on the Yankees' perspective, that trade should have been executed. When it did. And at the time, I was afraid of getting rid of a guy Miguel Andujar.
Yeah.
Are you sure the Mets didn't turn that down? I mean, Syndergaard's a freak of nature. I don't remember how that went about. Like, because I wouldn't have taken that trade at all.
But you know
That's a terrible trade.
Well, listen, at the time, Gary Sanchez was hitting well. He was getting better.
I never thought he was that good, honestly.
No, but maybe a change of scenery. Because how many times have you seen with the Yankees? Ian Kennedy, a great example. Ian Kennedy comes with the Yankees, a well-touted prospect, sucked. Goes to the Diamondbacks, and so I believe he was part of the wacky trade that ended up saying Didi Gregorius to the Yankees at the time.
No, I think he was on the Diamondbacks way before that because I remember 2011 way before.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, 2011, I went to a San Francisco Giants game in San Francisco and against the Diamondbacks, and Ian Kennedy was pitching.
Right.
Yeah.
And what happened when he went there? He was the Cy Young candidate. Am I wrong? Wasn't he candidate for Cy Young?
I don't know. Someone, let's Google that.
We're gonna fact check it.
Well, I don't have internet.
Okay, well,
All right, I'll do it.
You can text me.
all right. While you're looking that up, I will say this: this might be blasphemy as a Yankees fan, but you know what? I think they need to lax on the freaking hair policy. Like, come on.
Oh yeah.
Shave those sideburns, Manly.
Oh yeah.
I still like him better than Steinbrenner.
Dude, seeing Rougned Odor with no beard should have been sacrilegious.
It's like I made a meme about that for the Instagram page.
Dude, it was terrifying. He looks like a rat.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
He's a pretty good player. He's getting up there in age, but looks like a rat.
Okay. So, speaking of Ian Kennedy, I was right that it was a trade that involved the Diamondbacks and the Tigers, but it wasn't Didi Gregorius. And this is the part that's going to shock you. You ready for this?
Sure.
Okay.
It was a three-way trade. The Detroit Tigers received Austin Jackson and Phil Koch,
Okay.
and Max Scherzer and some prospect named Daniel Skreleth. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
Daniel.
And then Curtis Granderson came to the Yankees.
Oh,
Oh.
what a weird time that was. Holy shit.
So that was 2010.
Wow,
It was
that's been a
2011,
while.
2000, yeah, December 20,
That was
2009.
after, yeah, because we got Granderson after we won the World Series in 09.
And I liked Austin Jackson. I thought he was going to be like a well-taught prospect.
Me
I was
too.
actually excited for him. But then Curtis Granderson, the Grandy man, who betrayed me by saying
solid.
all real New Yorkers and Mets fans. But
It's that little inferiority complex. It's like we're living rent free in their heads, I guess. Whatever.
yes, so apparently Kennedy placed fourth in So in what year is this?
Yeah, we don't have to do this right now because you know what? I think what we were trying to get on was the NFL draft recap
Yeah,
because
so
that's
how
what
do
we
we-
started with. So
So
last
how
week,
the hell do we get from baseball to football? You know what?
There's no organization
I
to
don't know.
this show.
So let me just put us back on track real quick.
We still need that. Go get that.
I digged it, but once we start looking up crap that we didn't look up before, I think it's time to get back on track. So
Yeah, but yeah, Zach, you're a big Eagles guy. I mean, I think you kind of went into it with your first ever episode of Shot of Zach Daniels. I think
Yes,
overall
thank you.
you were happy with what the Eagles did.
I
on
had
draft.
gold.
I had a fantastic time having a couple shots of bourbon and just talking about Devontae Smith. And personally, I think he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the league, at least one of the best young wide receivers. I think he's going to do better than all wide receivers picked in that first round, which was, I believe it was Jalen Waddle, Rashad Bateman, Jamar Chase. Are we going to count Kyle Pitts? He's a tight end.
I mean, he could be a wide
He's
receiver.
probably, he's going to get a lot of passes thrown to him.
Yeah, I can't believe Devontae Smith fell as far as he did, but apparently he's too small. I'm like, and I said this like at the party, too small. Have you seen the Patriots receiving corps during their dynasty, during their heyday, when they're freaking short guys? It doesn't matter how short you are, as long as you get open.
I mean,
you do
I
your job.
I brought up the
You
stats
throw
from
the ball, you
2019.
catch the ball. That's, and then you run it into the other side of the field. That's the game. That's a football game.
In 2019, I brought up the stats too during my little shtick, is that he had Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle all on the same team. You had 4 first-round talents on the same team, and Devontae Smith, the younger one, beat them all out in an entire season. He was targeted more. He had more catches. He had more receiving. He blew by him receiving yards and way more touchdowns than Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Jalen Waddle. That's insane. And you know what? Honestly, if you watch him play the game, he has everything you need in a wide receiver. He gets open. He catches with his hands. He's very athletic. He's apparently they also say he's not that fast, but I think it was a podcast with Jason Avant I listened to. And Jason Avant, former wide receiver in the NFL, stated that Devontae Smith's not like gonna blow you away with speed, but what he is a builder. And what he does is he starts picking up speed and he doesn't stop picking up speed. He just keeps going. He doesn't just blow by you and then slow down at some point. Maybe someone can catch up. No. He's going to keep getting faster, and that's what makes him run past all secondaries. I think that's going to be awesome, and it's good for Jalen Reagor, too, because everyone was shitting on us for that pick. Don't blame them, because Justin Jefferson was right there for the taking. I don't think he would have done that great with the Eagles, but did you look at that last season with Kirk Cousins? But Jalen Reagor's going to start getting open, and we have a ton of other young guys at wide receiver. I don't even know who's going to be on the team. We have 6 wide receivers currently on the team, and we have to knock it down to what, 4 or 5? It's insane. It's insane. But, I'm just happy we got Devontae Smith. I love that we made the deal with the devil and got the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, jeez. Your reaction to that
dude,
was priceless.
dude,
You and Brick were screaming.
I feel like everyone was, because you don't see trades within the division that often. You know?
Something on your shirt here. It's napkin.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
There's something written on this.
Yeah, now you can connect your laptop to the internet.
Love
Yeah.
it. The Wi-Fi.
Oh no, let's put my Wi-Fi password on the camera for everyone to see. Good
Hey,
job,
hey,
Jack.
Hey, no one can reach it, right? Do you have the best Wi-Fi in the world?
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
So we're
No.
gonna sign in from like San Diego.
Yeah. Overall, the Jets didn't do what I want.
And I just been hacked from Des Moines, Iowa. Thanks a lot.
Funny. The Jets did what I want them to do, considering that they did trade Darnold. They drafted a
Drafted
quarter.
2 guys with the exact same name.
Zach was. Oh yeah, Zach. I'm still learning this guy's last name. The offensive lineman.
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah.
Wait, same guy with the same name. What are you talking about then?
Didn't the Jets draft a guy that had the two guys with the exact same name?
Oh, there's two. Yeah, they do have two guys on the team with the same
And
name.
I remember watching a little bit of the draft.
Who?
I think his name was like Brian Carter or something.
Michael Carter?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's Michael Carter.
Yeah, Michael
The Jets
Carter.
posted a meme on their Instagram, like the Spider-Man meme, like them pointing at each other.
And here was the funny part. I remember watching the draft. They drafted. They talked about Michael. They say they drafted the first Michael Carter, and they showed the highlights of the second Michael Carter.
Wow.
I mean,
Well, jokes on them. They got both.
I guess you like Michael Carter's.
I guess so, but I mean,
Wasn't
look,
that? Oh no, I'm thinking Michael
It's-
Clayton, the movie. Michael Clayton.
yeah, but get back on the Jets. It's weird to see a GM on this team actually draft, what they need. Because one of their issues was in the past is that they would get these GMs and they wouldn't get they wouldn't address an area of concern for the roster. They draft arguably the best player available at the time of their pick. I mean, that doesn't help you at all. I mean, obviously they needed a quarterback since they traded Sam Darnold. In a perfect world, I would have liked to see them give Darnold one more chance. Trade down to make maybe a pick or two, draft Kyle Pitts, and then build around Sam. But, obviously the ship has sailed on that. Pitts is now in Atlanta. But, yeah, we got another good receiver out of Ole Miss. I think is Elijah Moore. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he lead the
Solid.
SEC in receiving yards or something?
Yeah, he was really good on a team that wasn't that great.
Yeah, I mean, that shows, I guess, he can carry an offense quite a bit.
It's about how you play. It is about how you play. And Elijah Moore looks like a solid pick. And you have Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore. You got
Crowder.
You still got Crowder?
Yeah,
You also have Corey Davis from the Titans.
Yeah,
solid,
that's right.
Solid wide receiver.
So, yeah, and our left side of the offensive line is much better because we got Becton, and now we got Elijah Vera Tucker helping him. That blind side's going to be very hard to break through once, those two, fully mature. And, yeah, Joe Douglas is doing what, Jets have
He's
failed
supposed to do.
Yeah, he's doing what the Jets have failed to do for decades and decades, build around the quarterback, actually protect them. I think he knows now I can't make the same mistake that we did with Darnold and just throw him to the wolves. I got to give him weapons and I got to give him protection. I think we drafted 4 secondary players too, if I'm not mistaken. My dad texted me one of the later days of the draft because I don't watch the second, third round, all that stuff. He texts me, he goes, "Another cornerback, really?" I'm like, all right. But yeah, overall, I'm satisfied with the results from the Jets. Would I have liked to have seen Darnold get one more chance? Yeah, but you know what? That ship has sailed.
Enunciate, Jack. Enunciate.
That ship has sailed.
Good boy.
Let's see what the Mormon Mahomes, as they call him, can do. I hope this kid can, adjust from Utah to the big city. So
It's going to be a big adjustment. I think one of the biggest adjustments that we're going to see, and this is something that actually shocked a lot of people during the NFL draft. And I think it took away from the moment a little bit when we all learned that quarterback Aaron Rodgers, the great Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl 45 MVP, and short-term host of Jeopardy, Aaron Rodgers, wants out of Green Bay.
I can't believe we barely glossed over that, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? Oh, go
No,
ahead,
I
sorry.
don't know. I mean, I feel like I remembered we were talking about that early on. I think we got into the draft with that.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers,
You're still in this.
Aaron Rodgers not on the Packers? Holy shit,
But
man.
you know what? Then
Holy
again,
hell.
Brett Favre, what we thought was a Green Bay Packers.
Well,
Well,
Same exit.
he started his career with the Falcons though, didn't he?
Yeah, but briefly. Then he got
Yeah, but
traded,
you only
and they
remember
were
that
like,
actor.
"Oh, but this Favre's gonna be a nobody. Favre becomes a legacy, a name." And then he gets traded to the New York Jets.
And then
What a time.
he had a great first 2/3 of the Jets, and then they collapsed. Then he retires, unretires, and then just puts up a complete season with the Vikings, and I'm like, I hate you. I mean, we went to the AFC Championship.
No,
that
fun
year.
fact. I got the Madden that year. He was on the cover of Madden
09.
09, was it?
I believe so.
I have him still in a Packers jersey. They actually redid the cover and edited it with Jet stuff. There's two covers, and I had it early. I bought that Madden early.
Now, here's another crazy story, because I remember reading some articles, and I tried to find this today, and I couldn't find it, but I remember a good story about Brett Favre and the New York Jets Green Bay Packers. So apparently there was a story about a guy who bought a Brett Favre Green Bay Packers jersey. When it came in the mail, it was Brett Favre's name on a New York Jets jersey. Now, this is years before there was even discussion about Brett Favre even considering leaving Green Bay. And the guy was going to send it back. They were going to send it back, and he said, you know what? I feel like this is going to be worth something one day, because either A, it's never going to happen, it's a funny story, or B, he is going to go to the Jets. Once you know, he goes to the Jets, the guy still has the jersey, he confirms proof, he has a receipt to confirm proof of purchase, and all the dates and everything and the story behind it, and it was like a miraculous jersey. I think he sold it on eBay for like $3,000.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out for him. It didn't work out for people who got Trevor Lawrence Jets jerseys.
Oh my god.
And you know what though? I gotta say, what do you think is gonna be a bigger story, Trevor Lawrence or Aaron Rodgers this season? Depending on on the status of Aaron Rodgers.
I think it is Aaron Rodgers, just because right now I still think Green Bay is the bigger football market, as small as a town as it is. And, Trevor Lawrence still needs to, build up the reputation in Jacksonville, get them the respect that, they've pretty much been looking for their entire short existence.
The Jaguars?
Yeah, the Jaguars.
You know why I know it's the Packers? Because we're already getting headlines from the Jaguars. Who's gonna be talked about more this year? Trevor Lawrence at quarterback? Or Tim Tebow at tight end.
Yeah, can we talk
which is
about that
already
for a minute?
Yes, let's go into that.
What do you guys think on that? Because I'm gonna put this in one word. Weird.
Okay.
Well,
weird.
to quote Daniel Tosh, hold that thought, Dan. To quote Daniel Tosh, Tim Tebow is a tight end that lines up in the Wildcat formation, or whatever it was he said. But yeah, I think we knew for years he could be a tight end. He's a good athlete. Not exactly a great quarterback, but
is he even going to be... He hasn't played in 8 years.
Well, he had a stint with the New York Mets baseball team.
That's not...
That's a completely different sport.
Exactly!
It's completely different muscle memory.
I don't get it!
Completely different muscle memory.
The last time I remember seeing Tim Tebow in any capacity was I was at the Trenton Thunder game back in 2018 when they were AA affiliate of the Yankees. They were playing the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, AA team for the Mets. And Tim Tebow was on AA. It was his first game in Trenton. And when he got to the stadium, it was a packed house. I got tickets. I was able to get tickets early. Packed house, and all you saw were Florida Gator Tim Tebow, New York Jets Tim Tebow, Denver Broncos Tim Tebow. Every Tim Tebow jersey or Tim Tebow shirt you can think of.
I'd like to think that
he comes up to bat. He comes up to bat. And the whole crowd is chanting, going nuts, going crazy. Oh my God, it's Tebow! Strikes out.
I like to think if Tim Tebow hits a home run, he steps on home plate and then Tebow's.
Well,
Did he?
I'd like to think that.
I don't think so, but he did in his first minor league baseball game with the Columbia Fireflies, the then single A affiliate of the New York Mets. First at bat, home run. And I think that was like the Columbia Fireflies' inaugural season after they relocated from Savannah, Georgia.
Wow.
So what a way to kick off a legacy.
But,
yeah, really.
But yeah, I don't know. I think, I actually
If I'm not mistaken.
I saw a tweet earlier today about it. They're like, the fact that this dude hasn't played in 8 years, and me being an Eagles fan, I read it was like Trey Burton and Richard Rodgers have to feel so insulted right now because Trey Burton was the man who tossed the touchdown to Nick Foles on the Philly special, and Richard Rodgers. I watched the Eagles this year. He was like our third tight end, but Ertz was also out a lot. He's known for the Hail Mary catch he got from Aaron Rodgers, who we were just talking about.
He has a couple of them with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers has like a glossary of Hail Marys.
Yeah, I think he's the only one to get multiple. But
either way, Richard Rodgers with the Eagles, we were like, Richard Rodgers. Dick Rod could play. He could still play, and the fact that they took Tim Tebow over Trey Burton or Richard Rodgers. You need a backup tight end. I get it. It's not like a...
Well, keep in mind, he's reuniting with his old college coach in Urban Meyer. That's probably what drove it.
That's so stupid.
And it's also a nostalgia feeling because I have been in Jacksonville, Florida, and this was back in 2011 or 2012, but I remember asking people everyone's here is a Jaguars fan? He goes, we're not Jaguars fans, we're Florida Gator fans. Jaguars, when I was down there, I saw more people repping and supporting the Florida Gators SEC college football team than the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I was near the stadium too.
It's because like Jack said, Green Bay is all football. Florida's got so many teams, period. Like, you could be in Jacksonville, but you could be a fan of...
and they hosted the Super Bowl, too, a few years ago.
You could be a fan of the Miami Dolphins right now. They're picking up steam.
I know, but you know what, though? At this point in the Jacksonville Jaguars game, I think it's just publicity. Like, yes, you had a great draft here. You got Trevor Lawrence, who I think is going to be a bust in the NFL. We'll talk about that later. You got his running back, Travis Etienne, later in the first round.
That was stupid.
Agreed.
Okay.
You're making great strides. You're making a push to get better. Then you sign Tim Tebow, a former quarterback who spent a couple of years as an analyst and a minor league baseball player for the New York Mets to play tight end. I've lost all respect for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you know what? This is the thing. I get it. You're the Jaguars. You're not the most popular team in the NFL. You're always a punching bag. Yes, you had an incredible run a few years ago and lost to the New England Patriots. You could have been. I would have loved to see the Jacksonville Jaguars a change of scenery. Number one, from anyone besides the New England Patriots representing the AFC in the Super Bowl, and number two, a great underdog story. To me, it's all gone. You were doing great, and then you signed Tim Tebow.
They're trying
Shame on you.
You know what they're trying to do?
Like you said, there are better backup tight end prospects, tight end prospects. They could have drafted one.
I don't know whose decision it
the
was.
Publicity stunt. All you're doing,
who am I saying?
You're selling jerseys. You're selling an extra jersey, and trust me, people are going to see it because you know what's going to happen.
You're right.
It's jersey sales.
Guys, they just changed the rules on like the numbers and stuff.
Oh, that's right.
So is he going to be number 15 at tight end? That'd be fucking sick. Wait, I love the new rules for the jersey changes and the number changes. Devontae Smith, number 6. As soon as I'm gonna look up right now. Is it on sale? I'm getting that. I'm getting that fucking jersey at some point.
But you know what, though? If you want to be a respected organization in any sport, you don't go after the publicity.
Yeah, I mean, what's the Jaguars owner's name? Sadiq Khan, I think it is.
Shad Khan.
Shad Khan.
Okay.
He's preparing a move to London.
Jeez, that will be a nightmare and a half. But, he wants to put asses in the seats. You know what's going to put asses in the seats?
What?
A winning team.
Exactly. But then again, if you support your team, it doesn't matter if your team wins or loses. It depends on the culture. I mean, I've seen teams where it's in any sport.
Like you go to like Toronto, even when the Maple Leafs were garbage, that they would still sell out their games.
New York Rangers. Garbage between 1997 and 2004. You couldn't find a ticket anywhere. People still went to the games.
Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, they're gonna go no matter what. They have a sickness. Even when they suck, they're probably.
But
gonna go.
That's the thing. Your fan base is passionate.
Yeah,
they don't have.
Sometimes a little too passionate, but I respect.
You could go 0-16.
There's no such thing.
No,
there's no such thing as too passionate.
In that regard, howewever, you could go 0-16 and still every stand because
we'll have some.
In the stands.
Well, not everyone. If we're 0-16, I mean, like by week 12, I'm sure people are gonna just tune out at that point. That's not worth the money. But yes, no, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the fan base is just it's not stable. It's not
No.
when they're winning, of course they're going to be around. Everyone goes around winning teams.
It's like, the team's winning, time to go. Like, here's the thing.
Oh, I've been a Jaguars fan. I've always liked what the Jaguars have done. I actually read about them before I came here. Yeah, exactly.
You listen, you could be a bandwagon fan and I won't hate you as long as you're honest. Like me, I'm honest about the Knicks. Like, I only watch the Knicks if they're winning, like right now. But if someone calls me a bandwagon fan when it comes to the Knicks, I'm going to be like, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's the Knicks.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of the Knicks and James Dolan, the Knicks are weirdly enough, after last week, the Knicks are actually the stable franchise at Madison Square Garden, not the Rangers after what happened. So, Zach, before we get into our first topic of the coin toss, I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown since you probably don't know what happened. So,
please unravel.
Okay, so last week the Rangers played a game against the Washington Capitals. I think it was a week ago today, in fact. Okay. There was a scrum in front of the net. Pavel Buchnevich of the Rangers was lying on the ice because he fell. Right. And Tom Wilson, who's an asshole I'd love to have on his team, punches Buchnevich in the head as his head is on the ice.
I did watch this. I
Yes.
did watch this video.
Yeah.
Pretty heinous. Pretty fucking fucked up shit.
Yeah, people, now obviously, if you're the Rangers, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck off my friend.
Right.
Artemi Panarin, a guy you don't want in a situation like that, because, listen, a guy like Artemi Panarin, same goes for like Connor McDavid, you don't want him to fight. You want him to score.
Right.
If he's fighting, he's going to be in the box. He's not scoring. But, Panarin was out there. He has to jump on Wilson's back. He's like, get the hell off my friend. And, Wilson ragdolls him around. He almost slams his head to the ice. And he's, like, still going at him as he's down. And, like, there's a code in hockey fighting. You stop when a guy's down. Right. Wilson broke just about every code you could that night. And, like, taunted the Rangers from the penalty box.
Oh, my God.
And the shocking thing is the NHL didn't suspend him.
I did see that.
He's
He
been
got a
suspended.
$5,000 fine or something?
Yeah.
Like, that's a
Wait, did or
chump
did not
change.
suspend him?
Did not suspend
They
him.
didn't suspend him.
No, I thought you said did.
No, they didn't.
Oh, I
Okay,
didn't
no,
hear the
he's
NT.
clearly saying
I
did not.
I didn't hear the NT, but all I heard was did. I'm like,
I said did not.
No, yeah.
Well, I'll listen to this again and be like, what did I say did not? But whatever. I said.
Did Lonny say did not or didn't?
Okay, whatever. We know now. But the guy's been suspended 5 previous times. He's been suspended earlier this season for an elbow on Brandon Carlo.
Oh,
Completely justified suspension. And listen, I hate the Bruins, but yeah, he should have been suspended for what he did to Carlo. But the NHL doesn't find him. The Rangers, from what we're thinking is now, put a statement written up by James Dolan, the owner of the Rangers, pretty much saying it's a disaster that they didn't suspend Wilson because what he did was genuinely dangerous, and they pretty much called for George Peros to be fired from his position as the head of player safety. Now, Zach, George Peros is a former goon in the NHL.
right.
Yeah, that's
He's a former fighter.
yeah, exactly. Now, Wilson doesn't get suspended. Guess what happens the next game? As soon as puck drops, 3 fights off the get-go.
So I don't know as much about hockey, but I do like to keep it in my radar, and that was the most awesome thing. That was so cool to see that happen. What was that, like a night later? Was that the next night?
That was the game. That was 2 days later.
It was
the next
2 days
game.
later. It was still like the moment the puck dropped, there was 3 fights on the ice. That's poetic justice right there. Is what
It
that
really
was.
is. It's really the Rangers don't have like many fighters. And, it was a challenge for them. Yeah, they had to show, like, listen, you're not going to push us around. They didn't. Yeah. Panarin was out for the rest of the season. He doesn't have anything too terrible, but it's like, you know what? The season's lost. Let's just not risk injuring him any further, which I understand. Yeah, Buchnevich, the guy who he got punched, he got angry at someone who was goading him.
Anthony Mantha.
Yeah, Buchnevich cross-checks him in the face. He gets tossed from the game, and he gets 1-game suspension. Now, yeah, here's the thing. This all could have been avoided, probably, if Wilson got suspended.
If Wilson even got 1 game,
Probably, because the Rangers probably wouldn't be going after him for attacking their star player.
Yeah.
And listen, and because Peros didn't suspend Wilson, he looks like an asshole no matter what he does when it came to the Buchnevich cross-check. If he doesn't suspend Buchnevich because he let Wilson go, he's an asshole to the Capitals. But if he does suspend Buchnevich, because, let's face it, I think it was a just suspension, he looks like an asshole to the Rangers because he's like, whoa, he got punched in the head on the ice and got nothing.
exactly.
But here's the thing. Earlier that day, that was the second most crazy thing to happen that day. Earlier in the day, the Rangers fired their GM and team president, Jeff Gordon, and John Davidson. Now, Zach, you don't know who John Davidson is in Ranger lore.
Okay.
1979. Early 1979, who led the Rangers to the Cup.
Well, I'll try. Maybe this is too strong of an analogy because the guy I'm about to bring up is a Hall of Famer. John Davidson was an All-Star, but he wasn't a Hall of Famer.
No, but he had a great career with the Rangers.
Right. Imagine if Mike Schmidt was a broadcaster for the Phillies, and then he went to be an executive or something for 2 different teams, but he always wanted to come to the Phillies. And then he finally gets a job with the Phillies, and after 2 years, some disaster happens.
2 years.
Yeah, and then they fire him. That's basically what it would be like. John Davidson is so loved even to this day.
So he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's a very loved
Oh, he's
former player.
yeah.
And he was an executive.
He's one of the most. He was the team president. He's one of the most respected men in hockey.
And they fired him.
Yes,
Because of wait, why?
Because
I
James
still
Dolan,
am not even sure.
right now, from what we can gather, James Dolan is somehow not happy with the rebuild. You saw me talk about this in my first ever episode.
No,
of
I know. It
Cutting
was
Edge.
a positive feeling about it. It was a positive feeling about the rebuild
It's like,
until
okay.
this very moment.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to get into our only coin toss of the night in a little bit. They fired them, but they didn't fire the assistant GM, Chris Drury. Chris Drury's been with the team for a few years, and he was expected to get picked up by someone as their GM. But obviously now he's the Rangers GM, and he made a good signing today. He signed Ryan Lindgren to a 3-year extension. Good move already on Drury. But yeah, right now James Dolan wants them to win now. I'm like, I don't think it's time to win now. I think that's in a year or two. You want to say something, Dan?
I was just going to say, I mean, it's tough to tell right now, especially with the coronavirus pandemic. I mean, you look at what the Rangers were up against and what every other team is up against. I mean, look at Canada, for example. You have 7 teams in an all-Canadian division span across the entire country. You have one in the Pacific, 3 teams in the middle of the country, and, you know, the other 3 just, you know, close by with each other, but everyone's going 3,000 miles each way to play their divisional opponents. The Rangers are in division, the Mass Mutual East Division, and
That's the toughest division.
that was one of the toughest divisions because you have all these great talent there. And yes, you have a couple of teams that were doormats. You have the Flyers, the Devils, and the Sabres, who played very poor this year. The Flyers were a team I thought were going to surprise them, but they got to a hot start.
The Rangers outperformed them.
And then the Rangers outperformed in the end, and the Rangers were just stuck in the middle. Now,
And I'll say this. If this is a normal season, normal circumstances, the normal playoff format, the Rangers are a playoff team. I will say that right now. They are a playoff team.
And I totally agree with you right now. I mean, and also, you look at Connor McDavid recently, 100 points in 53 games.
That's crazy.
Incredible
Unbelievable.
feat. But with how weak the Canadian division is in general, do you think he would have done that if it was a normal divisional format?
I hate to say it, but probably not.
And McDavid is a generational talent, and I love how there was like this conspiracy behind how he goes from how the Edmonton Oilers got him, because you know apparently the Oilers own someone on the team, I believe, had part ownership of the junior club that McDavid played on, the Erie Otters at the time. But you know, it's not here nor there. Conspiracies, you know, you gotta love theories people throw around.
Yeah.
You know, there's no validity unless there's.
Darley, I do
I
do have a question for you though.
What's up?
Because the last time, you know, you were speaking positively about the rebuild. You were not.
You know what though? Yes, and if you remember a few weeks ago, I went on a whole tangent how the Rangers, and I was right because this was a 4-game set a few weeks ago that the Rangers played against the Devils. The first 2 games, back-to-back shutouts, they played great. First 2 periods of the third game, they did well, but then they let the Devils come back, and this was a weak team. And then we thought, okay, it was a fluke thing, and then the next day you're up 3-0, and you blow a 3-0 lead, and it's 3-3 now, and you're lucky to score with a few minutes left in the game to win it. You know, and I saw that team, and I said, you know what? It was reminiscent of a time where basically in years past, actually almost every year past, because the Rangers are notorious for this thing.
But the difference is, this is when the Rangers were in a playoff window, as opposed to the rebuild.
No, but even still, but it you know, a completely different roster, completely different coach staff, completely different everything, and this team always has a tendency to get off to a hot start and stink, or they get off to a crappy start and do well and then mellow out. It's a repetitive formula. And during my podcast, during like this rant a few weeks ago, I did mention the 2006-2007 season. And I remember that was the year where the Rangers were notorious for blowing 2-0 leads all the time. I was at a couple of those games. It was really depressing. And then I went to just as many games where they were down 2-0 and came back and won.
I'm a Phillies fan. I know about blown leads.
And this is a formula that I've
bad.
noticed for a very long time. And it just seems to me no matter what happens, there is a lure. There's something in the air, some essence, some sense, something that for some reason this Rangers team can't maintain a lead when it counts.
Yeah.
And that's something I said that this is going to be a problem with them. And they're good. And there's weaknesses to their game. They know to get sloppy. And then you think, okay, they come off a 4-game sweep of a divisional rival, a big rival, cross-river rival, the New Jersey Devils. And then I said, you know what? They got it. You know what? There is a chance they can make the playoffs. And you know what? It may not be good for them, But I kind of want to see what they would do with it. And then they go ahead and they lose 6-1 to the Islanders. Then they lose a couple of bad games. And then they're playing sloppy and sluggish.
The moment Matt Martin gives Jacob Trouba a concussion is when it went all down here.
Exactly.
But anyway, I think this is the perfect segue into our only coin toss of the night. Quiet for 2 seconds for the sound effect. All right, so, yeah, Dan. Do you still have faith, or do you have any faith in this rebuild now? Or maybe this is a two-part question. Do you think the Rangers were right in the firing of Jeff Gordon and John Davidson?
You know what? I have no idea. Because, like I said, we were in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic season. And in all honesty, I did not want them to have a season this year. But I'll be perfectly honest, I did not want the NHL to have a season this year. And I'm going to tell you why. We are dealing, yes, because it would lead to non-geographically compliant divisions. Yes, it led to some kind of way where it led to a balance of power that shifted heavily in one division over the others. And yes, it led to a whole country having to play each other 3,000 miles each way for a divisional matchup, which doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't.
And we had beginning of the season, we've seen the Dallas Stars and a couple other teams reschedule all their games. How many times have we go online? Oh, the NHL has made 10 changes to their schedule. Oh, 30 games were postponed because of COVID. And that's what I think messed it up. I really think that this was an environment where anything was possible because of the coronavirus pandemic. And yes, you have to keep into consideration the safety of the fans, that safety of the players and of the fans that they were allowed in the stadium to attend. And everyone's got to be safe, right? And when you keep postponing games and you keep canceling games and players want to opt out for a season or players concerned and players who did have COVID recovering from it, it does mess up the game. So I really do think that they should have canceled the season and they should have probably, players could have played overseas because there were leagues. The Continental Hockey League, the number 2 league in Russia, they were playing this year. They had fans in the stands. It was actually crazy. Their championship game where Ilya Kovalchuk's Avangard defeated the Red Army of Moscow team for the championship, and there was a packed house. Like I saw a ton of fans at the Moscow and Balashika region stadiums. They could have played over there to have the excitement, but because over there it's different over there right now. But here, because we're taking
I don't want Panarin setting foot in Russia.
No, exactly. Okay, well that's different.
Well, I have a question. What was the question again?
The question was, do you still have faith in the rebuild?
Yes.
But having said that, I don't know what to make of this season or any season for this matter because we're like I said, the season this year.
So are they still in rebuild mode? Or?
I say yes, they're still in rebuild mode.
But Dolan wants them to be out of rebuild mode. I think this.
And that's the problem with James Dolan. James Dolan.
He wants to win now.
He wants to win now.
It's probably not.
But that's the problem.
But look
with
what he
him.
did. He did with the Knicks. He did with the Rangers. He backed off the Rangers. Rangers contended well. They didn't win a cup, but they contended well. He kept on with the Knicks. The Knicks play like garbage. And he created a culture where basically Stephon Marbury went to China and there were sexual assault allegations against Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and he's probably one of those hated people. And that's why you can't afford to go to Madison Square Garden anymore as a normal thing.
Ever since the renovations, they decreased the seating capacity to artificially increase the ticket prices.
Exactly.
They did that. The Caskies did that with Soldier Field. Urinating tree talked about that in his little pair of Bears video. So anyway,
so that's my thing with James Dolan. Like, he wants to win now and he wants the money. I get it. Listen, I'm a Rangers fan. As a sports fan, you want to see your team win the championship every year. But
the reality
is, I'm not a fan of James Dolan.
I don't think anyone is.
So what did you think about this whole?
Okay, all things considered, all the crap that went on between the D'Angelo getting exiled after fighting Georgiev post-game, Panarin in his life practically in danger because of, what happened, the Tom Wilson fiasco, all that considered, I think the Rangers had a good season. But something, I hate to say it, I might agree with James Dolan and Mark Messier on. Don't get me wrong, I still think firing John Davidson and Jeff Gordon is a complete overreaction. This team needs size. It does need grit. Because I'll tell you something. Let's say Tom Wilson let's say the Capitals that night aren't playing the Rangers, and they're playing the Islanders. And that's not Pavel Buchnevich's head he has on the ice with his stick wrapped around his neck. It's Anthony Beauvillier or Matt Barzal of the Islanders.
Some great names.
Yeah. In all honesty,
Badass hockey names, right?
yeah.
Hockey names are insane.
If
They're
Wilson,
either very French or they sound badass Russian.
but if that is, but if Tom Wilson is in the same situation and that's Beauvillier's head, not Buchnevich, I don't think he's doing it. And if he does do it, he's an idiot. For this reason, he wouldn't only get the fine from the league, he'd get the fine of Matt Martin.
Exactly.
Matt Martin is a guy on the Islanders. He can fight and play hockey. I think, James, I do agree. This team does need size. They have a guy in their system in Sweden. His name is Alex Edstrom. He's 6'6", 215 pounds. I don't know if he could fight. If I'm not mistaken, the Swedish league doesn't allow fighting. But
that's lame.
I've seen fights in Swedish hockey.
Okay, then
Especially
good.
Especially in the Allsvenskan. Hockey Allsvenskan division.
Okay, well, hopefully this kid's in training camp next year. It's like, listen, I'll protect he could be the guy to protect the Panarins, protect the Lafrenières, or protect the Zibanejads. But anyway, I think James Dolan had a revelation the same way Ed Snyder had a revelation about the Flyers in their early days when they were just a little startup expansion franchise of the original 12. They got one of their early games, they got absolutely humiliated by the St. Louis Blues, not just on the scoreboard, but physically. The St. Louis Blues beat the pulp out of them, basically. And at that point, that was a turning point for Ed Snyder. He said, I never want to see this team be intimidated again. And after that, it led to the creation of the Broad Street Bullies. Bobby Clark, Dave the Hammer Schultz, guys that, were tough, could play hockey, and some guys that could just fight. That were just like,
Straight
listen,
up fight.
if you fuck with Bobby Clark, you're getting fucked up.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Those were the 70s. In that time in hockey, you were rolling out 3 good lines and maybe a fighting line. So it worked for the Flyers then. Now, you're rolling out 4 lines. If you're getting guys that can fight, they can't not play hockey. And that's why guys like Tom Wilson, as much as Ranger fans hate him right now, I hate him too. Would I take him on my team? Absolutely. Because he can play hockey, and God forbid you get him to clean up his act a little bit. Like, because you still want him to be physical. You want someone like that to protect Panarin or Lafreniere if necessary. The Islanders have that in Matt Martin to protect him. And, they have a guy, Ross Johnson, but he's kind of an old school guy. Like, he's pretty much there just to fight.
How old is Tom Wilson?
He's,
Do you mind me asking?
I think he's in his late 20s.
I'll look it up.
Late 20s?
But yeah.
What's the age that these guys usually come up in? Now I'm gonna just start asking educational questions because I turn on these games and they're always
27.
fun to watch.
Wow.
Just, I'm not privy to.
Geez, he's 30 days older than me, Tom Wilson.
Wow, so he's is that young technically? Like I mean Carter
I'm
Hart's
20.
still stupid young.
You know what though? Like, I used to work in hockey. I used to work at the junior level and see young kids develop. And really, the age, age is important but it depends on how well the kid is developing. You do see in the NHL, you see guys like Connor McDavid, 16, 17, 18 years old, is age already. And then you see some players that go, age out juniors and they go to college. They become college free agents at 25, 26, 27. They make their NHL debuts. Sometimes you do get the late bloomers, but mostly it's a young man's game.
Sort of like. Well, yeah, I could see it being a young man's game. I know baseball can be an old man's game because some of these guys don't hit the majors until 27.
Yeah.
20. Sometimes you get those beautiful stories of some guys popping up when they're like 31 years old and having their first start. You really want
Disney made a movie about it, The Rookie.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid, great movie.
But yeah, I have no idea what the front office is going to do now. I don't want to do anything drastic. I want them to keep the youth. I want to keep the veterans. From what Chris Drury said in his introductory press conference, we're not going to make any changes that are too drastic, which makes me comfortable. It's not like
what's the definition of too drastic to him?
That's a good question.
When you say something's drastic, everyone's got
And here's the thing. There's 2 things I heard. Or more so one thing I heard. I got to bring up the tweet. It regards Jack Eichel. And I don't know if the mic picked up that fart, Dan, but Jesus Christ, my nose is picking it up. Oh, good God. Broccoli.
I didn't fucking fart.
I heard that fart. You heard it too, didn't you? I smell something.
I think you're hearing things, Jack.
You fucking farted.
Jeez. Jeez.
We'll
Okay.
check the replay later.
All right. Maybe it wasn't loud enough for the mic, but this is a tweet from John Vogel. He writes for the Athletic. I think he covers the Sabres. Tweet today. Jack Eichel says there has been a disconnect between him and the Sabres regarding his injury. He said he'd be lying if he said things went smoothly. He says his main goal is to be ready to play next season, wherever that may be.
That's
Jack Eichel could very
that's
well
it.
be a Ranger next year.
That
You
is
know what,
it.
though? I am sick and tired of these Jack Eichel to the Rangers rumors because I see it all the time. And, everyone's like, oh, we want...
Well, that's the rumor I prefer, but the next rumor I'll get into after you go on.
They say, like, Jack Eichel for, all the rumors I see. It's like they're we want at least Alexis Lafreniere, we want Kaapo Kakko, and we want 3 first-round picks. That's the starting conversation.
Well, that's not going to happen.
But you know what, though? Knowing the new culture and the win-now mode, that could be enough to get the trade going.
I mean, I hope not. Chris Drury's well respected right now, even though he's, like, just starting as, like, a head GM. I mean... I'm trying to remain as optimistic as possible. I just want little tweaks. That's it. If anything, add a tough guy or two, but that can still play hockey. That's it. I'm not ready to fire David Quinn, the head coach. We talked about him on a previous episode. Mm-hmm. I mean, Chris Drury, if I'm not mistaken, did have a big part of bringing him in. So, I do think David Quinn will be back next year. And I think that's when you truly put him under the microscope. I think he's done a fair job. The Rangers did well in like goals for, goals against. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head. But that being said, if Chris Drury does fire David Quinn, I think that says 2 things. 1, James Dolan's got his hands all over this. That's not good. 2, news last night, John Tortorella is leaving the Blue Jackets. And honest to God, I have no idea what to think about that. I mean, no, actually, I do know what to think about that. I'm fully convinced if the Rangers do fire David Quinn, John Tortorella is coming back as head coach.
2013.
Because what they do, because if this team is lacking in anything, it's grit. And listen, John Tortorella, I loved the guy. He has his place in Rangers history, but I don't think he's fit to coach this team. Like,
you know what?
It works for guys like Callahan. It works for guys like Dubinsky because those aren't like skill guys. I mean, no, I don't know. I don't think skilled guys. They aren't like playmakers to the likes of like Panarin or Zibanejad. Like they are the gritty guys. They get in the dirty areas. You can't ask Artemi Panarin to block shots because like you're asking him to take a lot of abuse to his legs. It's like I need these to be the freaking beautiful skater that I am.
You know what though? I remember when John Tortorella came to the Rangers. I remember the Rangers retired Harry Howell and Andy Bathgate that night. They lost in overtime. Rennie got fired with Perry Pern, and we next year we hired John Tortorella. And then John Tortorella's first game, it was on the road in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. And what I saw was Wade Redden, a $6 million defenseman at the time, who was not playing up to his contract value, score a power play goal. And the reason why I thought it was insane, because at that time, the Rangers were notorious for having one of the worst power plays. And that season, in 08-09, I think at one point in time, they had a stretch where they had allowed more goals shorthanded than they had power play opportunities. And when I saw Wade Redden, of all people, score a power play goal in Tortorella's first game as coaching, I thought, yeah, we're going to be good with this guy. If he can do that, then we're going to go with this guy. But then what I saw was mismanagement of players, and it was including Chris Kreider. And I remember how much we did not like the way he treated Chris Kreider.
No,
and we thought it was going to kill his career. And what happened after Tortorella left? We got Alain Vigneault. And I was at this game.
Oh, this
it
is
was
great.
in November.
After Thanksgiving,
2013. Rangers Canucks. Tortorella is behind the Canucks bench, and it was a joke because Vigneault got fired by the Canucks, signed with the Rangers. Rangers fired Tortorella, signs with the Canucks. They trade coaches. And Chris Kreider scores a hat trick. His first career hat trick in NHL history ever against Tortorella after the way Tortorella mismanaged him. And what transpired was the longest in chant, Tortorella! Tortorella! Like, it was taunting, and I was part of it, and it was fun. But let's not forget that this man is a tough son of a bitch.
And he does have a Stanley Cup ring.
And can I tell you what I think he is? I think he'll be a good assistant coach. And I'll tell you why. You lead the main coach, but he's in the background saying, hey, you listen.
Good cop, bad cop.
Good cop, bad
Good
cop.
cop, bad cop.
I think we had David Quinn and Tortorella as the assistant coach.
I consider David Quinn a diet John Tortorella because, like, Quinn's a guy who wants intensity out of you, but he's not going to go to the links that will make you hate him like John Tortorella
Do you
will.
watch the show Key and Peele?
I love Keen.
Yes.
Okay, you know the Obama and the Obama translator.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Obama translator.
Jordan Peele Obama is Quinn. Keegan Michael Key, the translator.
John
The anchor
Tortorella.
translator is John Tortorella. I can see it happening, and I can see the combination because listen.
But here's the thing: we
a
got
cup-winning coach at a time before the NHL lockout when the game of hockey changed.
well. But here's the
Before
thing:
the
we
game of
got
hockey
Jacques
changed, one of those
Martin
days.
as one of our assistant coaches, and our defense improved so much with him
I know.
in the toughest division.
I know.
So I don't know if
That's
bringing
what's
Tortorella is.
tough too. Unless, like I'm saying before, it'll look good on paper. You get that mentality, but I like Jacques Martin too.
Yeah.
But and unless they want to get rid of Jacques Martin for every
I
reason,
do
which
not-
they shouldn't.
They do not.
Unless Tortorella can come in and say, but then again, he just got fired, but other teams are interested. I mean, I heard
No,
rumor just now.
Tortorella didn't get fired. Him and the Blue Jackets
I'm
both
sorry,
agreed.
part of ways.
And I will-
My apologies.
And before people
Part-
kill me because I didn't bring this up, Panarin did play for Tortorella in Columbus. I just remembered that. So
Yes, and that was the glorious time when they defeated the 62-win Tampa Bay Lightning, who then set the record for the lowest amount of wins in the playoffs with 0, to quote the great Keenan Thompson during the NHL All-Star
Jeez.
NHL award ceremony that year.
but yeah, I
loved every minute of that game.
That was fun, guys. Talking about Rangers.
yeah.
I'm learning more about the Rangers. I wish I'm trying to get into hockey. It's hard for me to catch it because I'm also like paying attention to Knicks and no, I am paying.
As you're wearing a
attention to Knicks.
Sixers hat, he's wearing a freaking Sixers hat.
I've been paying attention to the
You know
Sixers,
what?
the Knicks, the Phillies,
You know what?
the Mets.
Listen, because we're enlightening you with Rangers and our banters, you should just become a Rangers fan. Don't worry about. Listen.
No, he's honestly
You're doing
he's
a
such
better job than Steve is making me a Flyers fan. So, Rick, you're gonna have to do something about
I'll
that.
be right back.
Why? You're wearing a Red Wings jersey.
That's
I mean,
a Gordie Howe
Because
jersey.
I'm a hockey fan. And also, the love of my life, who's sitting over there, who one day I want to ask to marry, is from Detroit, big Detroit fan, Michigan area.
I don't even know if the mic's picking this up.
And I'm repping it today, and I'm representing
It's like
my
Gordie
love
Howe.
today.
Is that what
Yes.
that is?
Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey. Wait,
They're naming a bridge after him.
Are
Gordie
they
Howe.
really?
see? Gordie
Yeah.
Howe.
It's backwards, but you know,
Well, I
we'll
mean-
fix that in post, I guess.
Oh no, dude! Whatever program this is we're recording. For those of you listening to this on video, once I hit stop, it flips automatically. So
What?
yeah,
That's weird.
I realized that when I was testing, but geez. But back on topic, I want to say every ounce of my being wants to still have faith in this rebuild. Still have faith like the Rangers will make the right decisions going forward. Listen, if David Quinn is somehow gone this offseason, which I don't think he will be, because Drury, he was kind of brought in by Drury.
Here, put this on. Put this on.
Oh.
Let me see this hat on him.
Oh, jeez.
Now that looks good on you. That is a good.
He's
looking
getting a feel
hat.
for it.
That is sexy.
Zach Daniels wearing a New York thing. He can't
Oh
do
no,
it.
no.
Anti-New York. Anti-New York. It doesn't feel right. It
But-
doesn't feel right.
All right, let
Actually,
me ask you a
I feel
question.
my
Last
head.
thi-
You know
I
what?
think my head's
You know what?
burning.
I'm adding a coin toss topic, like we did last show. We're adding a coin toss.
Okay,
topic.
then.
Ready yet?
All right.
Here's
Be-
the coin
before
toss.
before you one last thing before we get into the next coin toss. If we do get a new coach, if anyone, I don't want it to be the AHL coach Chris Knobloch. But anyway, let's get into the next coin topic. Bing! What do you want, Dan?
All right.
Last
And I
thing
want-
last thing for the night,
We've
and then
gone an hour.
yeah, we've got.
minutes. What's timer?
We've got an hour.
1 hour, 4 minutes, and 47 seconds.
I mean, that's not
Well,
counting.
we
like
haven't
the
gone
bullshit
1
before.
minute.
Okay,
so
but
it's
go
definitely
on.
1 hour.
Okay,
Okay.
what's the next topic?
All right. We're talking around about New York. You know, wearing a Rangers hat.
I can't believe I
Philly
said
fan.
Knicks first. Oh my god, it sickens me.
Blasphemy!
Okay.
We're gonna pelt you with Philly cheesesteaks.
Do you think people should be fans represent fans of two rival cities? Let me rephrase that.
I think I know
I
what
have friends, for example, that are diehards of the New York Yankees and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I know.
I have a friend like that, Gabe. If you're listening, I'm looking at you. You confused the shit out of me.
Zach Lasky, Yankees, Eagles.
Do you think that should be allowed to be a fan base of two cities that are considered rivals, like New York and Philadelphia?
I mean,
Absolutely.
You think that's okay?
I believe you can be a fan of whoever you want. I found that out growing up. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but I'm going to tell this story right now.
And we're out of time.
We had
I'm kidding.
I had a friend. He just moved to Millstone, where I went to elementary and middle school, and he was a Ravens fan, and it was 2000. I had never met a Ravens fan before, but that was the year the Ravens and the New York Giants went to the Super Bowl. And growing up in the middle of New Jersey, basically, and
I think you told us a story, but go on.
I don't think I said it on an episode. Maybe I did. I don't know, but the point is, well, I'll just simplify it, all right? He got a lot of crap from kids, when we were first grade or whatever it was. He got a lot of crap from kids for being a Ravens fan, and the Giants were in the Super Bowl, so they're like, oh, yeah, the Giants are going to beat their butt, blah, 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 And I was like, you know what? I don't like these guys. And I think that's where my New York Giants hate started. And in general, I started feeling a pompous sense from all New York fans. So I was like, I'm just going to be anti-New York. And I personally picked up on Philly's attitude a little more because we were the little brother to New York. Because we also lost, we don't have nearly as many championships for any sport when it comes to New York. But you know what? Our fans are better. And that's what I like. And then the Ravens kicked the living shit out of the New York Giants. And that's what I said. That's what you get.
And this is why you guys used to have a jail in your stadium.
Not at all. Not at all.
You boot Santa.
There's no.
They didn't boot Santa. They threw batteries at
How about
Santa.
this? I have a question. Why don't you come up with something better? Why don't you come up with some? You know when the Giants and the Jets had a preseason game, someone got tased. I'll bring that up. It was on 9/11.
I got it.
Wait, hold on. Didn't a Flyers fan kick the crap out of a retired police
I do not
his
claim
young child?
Maybe, but you know what? I bet he deserved it.
If I won
I
that,
bet he deserved it.
cheesesteak places.
Hold this thought. I have a story. My first ever football game was the Jets-Giants preseason game.
Good story. Write a book about it.
I was 4 or 5 years old. I was like this little, as my dad puts it, I was a cute little kid rooting for the Jets. I'm like, go Jets! And according to I have no recollection of this. I was really young, but some guys who were like in their 50s, Giants fans, yelled at me to shut the fuck up. And security got them out, but my dad looked at them like at the top of the stairs. They're just like looking at us basically. At some point, like, they turn around or whatever, my dad picks me up like a football, carries me out, and, like, we get out unscathed. So
I think it's because Giants fans are pussies, but I mean, in general, I think they're dumb. You should have seen the way they reacted when we got Devontae Smith.
I saw the video that one.
Oh my god! And just in general, I mean, like,
you don't need a freaking wide receiver, Giants. I mean, they might be parting ways with Sterling Shepard, but I don't know.
I'm very active on Twitter at @the_Zach Daniels on Twitter. I'm very active. There's so many Giants fans that are pretending like they don't care that we got Devontae Smith when they clearly cared about Devontae Smith. So, what is this?
He's writing your Twitter underscore.
Oh, there it is. At
Is it with a Z or an S?
it's with a K. It's with a K and a Z at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. You just threw off our video watchers.
It's okay. It's at @the_Zach Daniels. Give me a follow. I'm very fun. but yeah, no. I mean, in general, I just think going back to what the question was, it doesn't really matter. It's really it's the team that you like. I don't even necessarily know what brings people to their teams outside of like family a lot of the times and friends. Some people have personal, like mine was just the fact of I I guess I wanted to be like anti-establishment or something. I was so rebellious growing up that like there was way more New York fans and there was still a good amount of Philly fans. And I had I actually like had friends who were Philly fans, so I gravitated more to them anyway. So screw it. I was just gonna go ahead and go against my mother was a Phillies fan. My parents had like the weirdest fan base. Loves out of any of them. Like my mom is a Washington.
We're canceled. We're canceled.
She's a Washington football fan. My dad's a Packers fan. He's also a St. Louis Cardinals fan. He was an Islanders fan. Apparently,
I could top that combination.
Yeah, it's really it really. I don't think it really matters.
Speaking of Islanders fans, we gotta get Matt in here for an episode. He should.
Yeah, Matt, what the hell are you doing? Are you watching this?
Also, congratulations to New York Islanders for rebranding their AHL team, American Hockey League team, from the Bridgeport Sound Tigers to the Bridgeport Islanders. You have really made the citizens of Bridgeport very, very happy.
All right, well, go on, Dan. What were you going to say?
Anywho.
Let's hear this conversation, then we'll wrap up.
Yes, we'll wrap up.
Because I got to edit this.
Yeah, have fun. I had a friend growing up, Nolan Builder. I miss you, buddy. Hope all is well, and hopefully if you're watching and we can hang out and catch up soon. It's been a long time. San Francisco Giants, Dallas Cowboys, LA Lakers, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Wow.
But there's a reason for each.
Because they won championships when he started liking them?
If I remember correctly, he was a Giants fan. He's a Giants fan because Barry Bonds was his favorite player before the steroid allegation.
Fair. He was one of my favorites.
He was a Cowboys fan because all of his friends were annoying Giants, Eagles, and Reds, and Washington football team fans.
Okay.
My apologies for the slip, folks.
I mean, you're not
Lakers fan. Well, not really a Lakers fan, but his favorite basketball player,
Colby.
Derek Fisher.
Okay, get Derek Fisher.
That's an interesting
And
one, but he was great.
Pittsburgh Penguins because he felt bad how bad they were. And this is before they drafted Sidney Crosby.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, he didn't realize he's got a winning lottery ticket there rooting for them.
He just liked certain teams. You know, actually, I'll say this. Before I really knew what was going on with fan sports, all that stuff, I also like just certain players. Big Terrell Davis and John Elway fan. I was digging the Broncos for a little bit. So if Adam, you're listening, like I did like the Broncos. I still do kind of like the Broncos.
And one of our,
I hope Jay Ritchie's listening too.
Yeah,
one of our supporters,
He can
one,
go
one
fuck
of our
himself.
close friends, Cody DeGorder. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
to, him and his
Cody!
wife have a beautiful baby boy. Congratulations. Him and his father are big Broncos fans.
Nice.
Yep, they are. They became a family on Mother's Day. It's pretty nice.
All right.
Yep.
Well, they're gonna have a baby foal. Or is it just a foal? It's not a. It's a baby horse, right? Is that a foal?
Isn't it a cult?
Is it Colt?
I don't know. I might be wrong.
But he's a Bronco fan. He can't be a Colt fan.
Well, Colt,
What if the kid becomes a
Wait,
Colt
wasn't
fan?
that commercial where
Holy
it was like
shit,
a
Be like T-Wolves.
Actually, I remember they told me a story once because I think they were following baseball and basketball, but on hockey, Cody, he's a big Rangers fan. His wife, big Devils fan. And I actually met his wife when we were in high school because she yelled at me for wearing a Rangers jersey once.
All right.
I'm just so happy my fiance is a Ranger fan. Babe, if you're listening to this, love you, Brie.
And I think they told me a story once, and I think at the end of the day, they don't care who the kid roots for, as long as the kid's happy. That's more important. But they told me a story of how they were going to do it. I said, what are you going to do? One's a Ranger fan, one's a Devils fan. And at the time, they said that they were going to do this. They were going to get a Ranger onesie and a Devil onesie. And they're going to let the baby crawl to it. One they like the most, that's how they're going to raise it.
Hey, see what they pick.
Let's see. Yeah, it's a creative little way to sell that argument. My fiance and I, when we do get married, if we have kids, we agree on hockey, we agree on baseball, we only disagree on football, but I'm not letting my kid be a Jet fan to suffer like me. Unless by some divine miracle, Robert Saleh changes the culture of this organization. Then we could have the conversation. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight, boys. Great
Thank you
show.
for listening for a very long time.
If you even made it this far.
And I want to thank you guys for coming over, and it's great to do it live as opposed to on the video stream.
We should definitely do this again and not have to talk into one fucking microphone. We have to figure that one out,
Yeah,
boys.
freaking
Yeah.
Zach. Hey, Zach brought the USB port. The port for the USBs. We had a little tech issue there, but hopefully you were still able to hear us fine.
I'm on the left. Man's on the right.
No. I mean, Well, actually, yeah,
Stuck
if
in
you're looking at
middle
the
with
camera.
us.
Well, it's a little inverted, so.
Oh shit! It is.
Yeah, it's gonna flip once I hit the end button.
You know that's too
Yeah.
complicated. We shouldn't do.
You
this
know what?
every day.
I'm Ed Darley.
I'm Zach Daniels.
And I'm JackKnife. Follow us on Twitter.
Again with his JackKnife.
You can call me JackKnife. You can call me Lonny. Whatever you
You
want.
have said like 5 different names at this point. You're like Johnny Lonny, Lonny,
Lonny
JackKnife,
Flo.
Jack. Like who
When you
are
had the
you
long
anymore?
hair, you had the Lonny flow. Good night, everybody. You got the Lonny flow now.
I gotta do the
Yeah.
plugs for social media.
No one's listening to this podcast.
No, let him-
Shut up! Let me freaking end this show, all right?
We only have 3 viewers.
Well,
1, 2, 3.
And then it's only gonna be 3 because you keep being annoying.
Let him do it. Let him do it.
Be sure to follow us on wherever you get your podcasts: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FUNTS Podcast and on Facebook at Fat Unathletic Nerds Talking Sports. This is Man Darley, Zach Daniels. I'm Lonny. Have a wonderful night, everyone.